Most of them are broke.
Yeah.
And super talented, like that local one that we saw at the fair.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see him again because I got money to spend. Well, I don't have money, but
We have well wishes to give.
Yeah.
Right. That's more the case.
We have table shopping we would like to do with our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Scope it out. Like here we have punk flea markets and different things like that we can go to. And that kind of caters to an alternative crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And they're more open and willing to work with you. Your local artisans are going to be, if they're, nice people, they're going to be willing to do special orders and take your orders and get your business and commissions and things like that. So seek that out, but that takes a little bit of planning on your part to get it done ahead of time.
Do
and
not
if you're
expect it to be done overnight.
right, if you're like us, time and money are kind of, a little bit, it's not something that we can always plan way far out in advance to go seek out our local artisans to be like, hey, I really want this done. If a little bit of planning can get you a lot, if you're not the artsy craftsy type that's going to do it yourself.
Like me, I don't know one end of a glue stick from another, so...
The sticky part is what you put down on paper. Just,
That's so cool. How do you know?
I've used glue sticks in the past. I'm not an expert. One thing people seem to find ideas off of is Pinterest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use Pinterest very much. I've seen things on Pinterest that I'm just like, oh, that's cool.
I once heard of Pinterest.
Pinterest is a wormhole.
Yeah, do you know how to turn on a computer?
I have seen them
He
before.
totally
I've
does.
seen it done.
Whatever.
I know how to use those
The interwebs.
computer things with that interbook on the face web.
The buttons and mice,
The Sky page.
rodents.
The Sky page. Sky page. I'm going to have to use that when I work.
Whoa.
But another place to find things off of is Etsy. Etsy has a lot of creators on there, and they seem to have a lot of, it's also another wormhole that you can go into. You start finding this and that. It's like, ooh, I want that and that and that and that and that. And oh, it's 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, that type of thing.
This may
I've
have been the
seen-
origin story of Rip Van Winkle. Just kind of...
I've seen a few of the products on there that are geared towards the polyamorous fams, but they are basically pretty cool, kitschy fronts with blank insides. And that's great for those of us who are, really great and really want to write something. But if you're like some of the members of my polycule,
Crow?
you don't like to write anything other than just like love Zan.
Okay, I know you're talking about Crow, but you're looking at me.
No, I just said love Zan. I was pretty pointedly talking about
He totally broke out of that box on my birthday.
He did. I just, I'm not bitter about that at all. I'm just, it's
after
great.
20, how many years?
I
20
have
years?
compersion for, his outward display of affection for Crow there.
Oh, look, I got an appointment I have to go to right now.
Oh, look, Lamp just showed back up. I guess Lamp came in from visiting Aaron. Aaron, we're going to have to talk about time frames because the amount of time Lamp is spending away from us is getting a bit excessive. I thought we were all going to communicate about all of this and share time together, but, it's kind of infringing on our time with Lamp, so we really need to talk about this.
Damn. Jay just kind of threw it out there, didn't she?
Called you out, man.
Yeah, I feel for you because I've been on that end, and
Lamp is coming home exhausted and just doesn't even want to participate with the family anymore. Just calls out Aaron's name in the middle of the night. It's
can't even
getting
turn her
a bit,
on anymore.
I know. We can't even turn Lamp on anymore.
She comes in burnt out.
She's all shady. She just
taking a detour.
Lamp comes in unplugged. On the other end of that, let's talk about holiday photo cards. How many members of your polyamorous family do you want to send with your photo card? And how do you address that? when you're typing in your little texty textertons onto your Christmas card, how are you going to label it? As, are you going to put Merry whatever holiday you celebrate from, and then what names are you going to use? Are you going to use from our family to yours? Are you going to use from our family plus Joe and Celeste? Or are you going to use, how are you going to include all of them? And then are you ready for the questions that are going to come along from
racist Uncle Frank?
Aunt Flo. Where she's asking, who are those people in your picture for the holidays?
What you got to do
my
is
husband, and that's my husband, and that's my wife, or that's our wife, and that's our...
Yeah. See, what you ought to do is just everybody snuggle in bed and take a selfie, and then put that as your Christmas card. Cover everybody up, but just send it all, and that pretty well answers all the questions. It just does. Yeah.
Like, how far do you cover up? Like from the knees down?
No, you do what they do in the movies. The women are all covered up like all the way to the collarbone,
right.
and the men, for some reason, the sheet is shaped like an L, and the men have their entire from the waist up uncovered.
Yeah, because it's okay for them to show their boobies, but not for the women to show their boobies.
Free the nipple.
That's not okay. Actually, Austin has freed the nipple. Austin, Texas. And you are allowed to ride around on your bicycles or be in public without your shirt or bra on.
When are we taking a trip to Austin?
Hey, I have been there during that, and it was fabulous. So just have you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Back to nipple. Greeting cards.
Yeah, so think about those kind of things, or are you just going to all do your separate things? Are you going to do your normal, I hate the word primary, but your normal primary families? Those are different things that you have to think about for the holidays. And if your poly family, your polyamorous family wants to be included on the gift giving and things like that, are you going to allow them to sign the cards? Are you, how are you going to explain if people ask who so-and-so is? And that's different kinds of things that I guess need to go into the gift giving and poly merchandise and stuff like that.
And if anybody gives you trouble on it, just send them a bag of gummy dicks, or eat a bag of dicks.
I know life is hard sometimes.
So here's a bag of dicks.
I hope you come to your senses soon.
I was glad to have come across the gummies, because somebody before had told me to eat a bag of dicks. Various pictures flashed through my mind, and the gummies I thought was just a nicer view, because before that I'm sitting there imaning...
No, don't go there. Don't.
Mashed in together like chicken parts.
Come on.
Ew. Ew.
You really had to do that, didn't you? You had to do that.
So rubbery.
Really?
And
God. Can we just apologize to the audience and move on?
What? I thought we were keeping it real. You keep trying to edit us.
Are you eating them all?
Are you the PC police today?
No, you're
going to fly drones over into our windows?
I just don't like thinking of a bag of human dicks.
I got nothing.
I could imagine someone telling me to eat a bag of dicks while I'm eating the bag of gummies and just be like, already on it.
Suck it, bitch.
Popping them in my mouth like, I think I'll have another.
There's also party banner stuff. Like when you're hanging decorations, happy graduation from mom and dad, or happy this from these people, or happy this from... It's very clear that it's for what it would be considered a more typical family.
Right.
Which again, and I can't emphasize this enough, modern families don't even fit this role. This is the same issue.
Not at all.
This is the same issue I had with the school. This is the same issue I had with all the other things, is the modern family does not fit this mold. And if they just expand it to fit the modern family, we could probably slip polycules in there.
Well, actually they have the letters that you can buy to make the banners now.
Oh.
So you could put Menamore, or you could put my partner's partner, or you could put my significant other, or you could put so many things. Like you could spell out your own thing.
Oh, can you imagine that, putting a banner across the living room that says, "You fuck my partner."
You fuck my partner for a whole nother year. Congratulations. Happy anniversary. Yeah.
Happy humpiversary.
Yeah, so
that's the thing, is that in polyamory, people from the outside of things still consider polyamory very similar to, if not almost synonymous with, the swinging lifestyle. So when they try to make stuff, it comes out as a parody because it's more geared towards sexuality.
right, not towards like
Which emotional connection.
Yeah.
Genuine.
Yeah.
genuine emotional connections. And
I know of at least of more than one polycule where sex is not even on the table for any
yeah,
of them.
they're ace.
And they're wonderful, and they're having a wonderful time, and they're all in love with each other. But that's not. They just don't. They aren't physical with one another. I mean, they're physical in that they'll snuggle and cuddle and have a wonderful time together, and they have a deep emotional bond, and that's all they need. But then you get people who try to help us out, so to speak, and by help us out, I mean it in a very tongue-in-cheek way. Kind of like when somebody's on a special diet and somebody tries to slip you the thing that you can't eat because they're trying to be kind. That's something that we've had to deal with. I had to deal with it during my youth, and Zan and Jay are dealing with now.
Yeah.
And have particular dietary needs. And when I was a kid, I couldn't eat sugar, and somebody would slip it to me just out of kindness, and then I would be horribly, horribly sick. But people will do that in the poly community, is they'll try to make us something. Yeah,
But it comes out as tongue-in-cheek, joking.
Here's a card for your family because, you all screw around with each other. Or like, you're all sluts, so here's your
right.
slut-shaming card that's meant to be funny. It's one of those, ow. Thanks. Thank you for thinking of us and getting it all wrong, but thinking of us anyway. And it's especially disheartening for people who are family bonded, and they are really united as a polycule, and they're raising each other's children, and they're in each other's lives, and they're all together. And to have somebody come out with something like that is, on one hand, you almost feel like, well, they tried.
Right, so you give them credit for trying, but at the same time, it's a little insulting.
It cuts through you because you're like, that's not even close. And I kind of feel like if Hallmark, or not Hallmark specifically, but American Greeting Cards or whoever the card company is, ever comes out with something, I am horribly afraid that they will get it all wrong.
Right. It's like you're gonna have somebody that's not in the lifestyle. You're gonna have somebody that's not in the know, so to speak, of how to gear things effectively for different lifestyles that are out there. So you would need something more of somebody that's engulfed in the lifestyles to come up with the sayings, and that's kind of what's needed, because I'm sorry, the world is changing to where what your typical family model is no longer typical.
Yeah, you'd almost be better off going to sex shops or adult novelty stores to find your cards there, or even Spencer's or different stores like that. They will actually have merchandise and cards, especially if we're talking about greeting cards, that would be more applicable to your family status. I mean, there are a few companies out there. There are a few mom and pop shops on the internet.
Yeah,
there's so
support
many
your mom and
different
pop shops.
So many different avenues that you could go down. But again, it takes planning, and it takes a little extra time to perhaps even send an email to that person and that shop and say, hey, this is my situation. Can you accommodate me? And hopefully, they'll be able to get you something out within the time frame that you need. Otherwise, you're just stuck on winging it and making it yourself, which there's a whole love and aspect that comes along with that carries a weight that nobody else can have. Actually, I was just looking at this monkey set that Zan and I had, that we've had for quite some time.
It's two little stuffed monkeys hugging each other.
Yeah, and the little arms Velcro around each other. And I've been looking into finding a third monkey to represent Crow, that could go around us that we could Velcro the arms around. One time I got our girlfriend